Hello, and welcome back to the next episode of the Four Horsemen. My name is Paul, representing Diecast Graveyard. Back at the beginning of the year, fellow builders Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, Jeff from 164 Revival, and Xavier from Diecast Show Customs formed the group The Four Horsemen. Well, every month we get together and have a build, and the rules are that we use the same casting, and we also have a theme. Now this month's theme is from Xavier. We have to take this Hot Wheels Lamborghini Miura and we have to turn it into a Redline, and we also have to use dual colors, or at least two colors of Spectreflame paint on this car. Well, it's going to be a pretty darn good challenge, and I'm definitely up to it. So let's go ahead and get this baby apart and get started. It's a really beautiful car. We're going to have a lot of fun. Here I've got the car. Well, I drilled it, but we got to get it apart. Now this car is one of the cars with the chip in them, and I guess it allows you to play a game or something. I started looking at it before, but I never followed through on it. But it's got one of those ID chips in the bottom that you use to race it and put it on the computer game or something like that. But getting this thing apart is definitely a booger for sure. I'm bending the wheels and I don't really mean to, but we're going to replace them with red lines anyway, so that works out pretty good. There we go. Well, here's the body. We're going to have to file down those posts and get them ready for some screws. Here's the interior. We might try and detail that up a little bit. No problem with the windshield or the windscreens. They look good. And here's the base with the chip inside. This is pretty interesting for sure. But we're going to use the same base. We're going to use the same body and everything. We're just going to change out the wheels and try and figure out a paint job that'll coincide with that yellow base. So I definitely got my work cut out for me for sure. Let's go ahead and drill out the post. We flattened out the bottom of the post. Now we're using a 1/16 inch drill bit to drill the holes for the screws. And I'm going to be using the 1-72 screws here. Since the post is a little bit long, we'll use the 3/16 inch length. Now if the posts were shorter, we would use the 1/8 inch length when it comes to putting those screws in. Just keep track of how deep you're drilling. You definitely don't want to drill through the hood of the car. Every so often stop a little bit, clean out your drill bit to make sure that the channels in the drill bit are clear, so the drilling that you do, the shavings come out and they flow freely outside of the drill bit. You can tell by the curly cues that are coming out of the end there. We're coming along pretty good there. Well, a lot of this part is boring, so let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and throw the body in the embalming fluid, aka citrus strip. Got a couple other cars in there that I'm working on at the same time. And let that sit for a while. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. We're going to let that set for probably overnight, and then we'll get it out and we'll see what we have to deal with. Looking good. We got the car out of the paint stripper. Now we're going to go ahead and paint it a Spectreflame gold. This is a beautiful color. It's the same color that the Gasser, the 55 Gasser blonde cars were painted, and it gives a really nice color. Now the body itself, it didn't really need any other cleaning or anything once we stripped the paint off of it. So that's why we're going to go ahead and paint the gold paint right over the top of it. I wanted to do something where it matched the base that we're going to put back on and when we do the wheel swap, etc. So we're going to go ahead and do some tack coats here of the gold, let it sit for a moment, put a little bit more gold on there, and then we're going to hit it with the next color. Since the theme of this build is Spectreflame and Redline, we're going to have to put at least another color of Spectreflame on there. So let's go ahead and get to that. We let that set up for about 10 minutes. Now we're going to hit the back end of the car with a Spectreflame orange. I think that this is going to be a really nice color, and it's going to blend really well. But the Spectreflame paints, they're fantastic, and if you follow the manufacturer's directions, or the seller's directions, your paint will turn out fantastic. Now you can get all these paints at the Redline shop, and we'll have a link to that in the comments, or we'll at least tell you where you can get to the Redline shop at the end of this video. So we're going to put some coats of the orange on there, and it's slowly going to blend in with that yellow, and it's really going to match that base nice. That's looking sweet. Let's let that tack up for a few minutes, and then we'll come back in and hit it just a little bit more. Alright, we let it set for about 10 minutes, so we're going to come back in now and hit it with a little bit more orange just to darken it up a little bit. But that's a really nice fade from the gold to the orange like that. And you know, folks, you can do these fades also. All it takes is a little bit of experimentation, and you can come up with a wild array of colors on this. Now, just like I said, start off with a main line, kind of like this car. I mean, this is a little bit more expensive than a main line because it's one of those ID chip cars. But get yourself a 94-cent car from Walmart, or a 99-cent car from Target, or whatever, and experiment and play with this. It's a lot of fun to see what you can do with it. Now, you can do the same thing with a spray can, a rattle can. You just have to give it a little bit of distance and not spray it on too thick. Now that's a real subtle fade, and that looks fantastic. I can't wait for this to dry, and then we can go ahead and get the details done. Now here's the base. These are the Redline tires that I decided to put on there. These are Real Riders. So I had to trim up the axle a little bit so to get it to fit better. But we got the same size diameters in the back and the same size diameter tires in the front. Now this interior piece holds those wheels in place so we don't have to glue those in place, which is really cool. And there's that yellow base I was telling you about. So this is going to look really nice when it's done. We got to let that paint sit up overnight and harden, and then we'll be able to come in and do some details and then put the car back together. Now we've got all the parts together here. Here's the body. I detailed the headlights and the taillights. They look pretty sweet. Nice paint job fade too. Here's the base that goes in the middle, or the piece that goes in the middle. I blackened in the bottom part of the car. Here's the base with the new Redline Real Rider tires. Those are going to look sweet. Here's the windshield. I polished that up. Let's put it together and see what we came up with. And here's what we started with. A Hot Wheels Lamborghini Miura. It's a beautiful car. I mean, wouldn't you love to own one of these in real life? It's got the really nice tires on there. Again, I prefer Real Riders, but they look pretty sweet. But the challenge here was to take the car, turn it into a Redline car. Also, we had to paint it in Spectreflame paint and use at least 2 colors. Now, again, when we first start these things, we really don't know what we're going to do, so we kind of sometimes shoot from the hip. The best part about this hobby, guys, is that you can do this too. You can take any car like this, you can take it apart, you can paint it any way you want. You can mix up those Redline colors, or those Spectreflame colors, excuse me. You can have a really good time with it. Put some stripes on there, put some flames on there, or put your decals on there. Anything you want to do, it's totally up to you. And here's what we got to. Look at that beautiful fade on the paint job there. The Redline tires there, the rims, they just set it off. The details on the lights. This car looks absolutely sweet. Now the best part is if you follow the manufacturer's specifications on the paint here, you don't have to clear coat it. Now if you're putting decals down, you definitely need to clear coat it to protect them. But this car turned out absolutely beautiful. Just a little bit of details, a little bit of paint, and look what you can come up with. Get yourself some cars from Walmart or Target or a flea market or whatever, and start your hobby, folks. Check out my Amazon page, my Amazon store, and you can find all kinds of goodies in there to help you along with your hobby. Now I only make a few pennies on there, but it helps everybody out. I'd like to say thank you to my Patreon subscribers: Grim Reaper Level, William K7 Robinson, Dale Johnson, Ed Ostrander, and Richard Reese. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. They help me out by giving a subscription fee every month. Jake Rademacher, Sam Pascal, Air Warrior Coffee Company, and new member Ricky Montalvo. Brother, thank you so much. I couldn't do this without you guys. New funeral director tier: Diecast Sheriff moves up. Double B's Customs. Check out his Facebook page, and also check out Diecast Sheriff YouTube page. Gravedigger level: Wade Hendricks, Chris Decker, Ralph O'Neill, Ryan Goldstein, Les Jenkins, Bob DeNice, Leroy, thank you so much. Jim Silva, check out his YouTube page. Richard at Michio Woods Garage, he sells Hot Wheels on Facebook, check him out. Daryl Begtel, Diecast Pirate, Pin Tony, Scott Turner, Michael Oxley, Pete Langford. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. Ronald Raby, I couldn't do this without you guys. Check the link in the comment section on how to become a member of the Diecast Graveyard Patreon team. Thank you so much. This video was brought to you by the Redline Shop. The Redline Shop offers a complete line of decals, tools to take your car apart, put them back together, replacement hoods, replacement glass, those beautiful Redline tires, and of course, the world-famous Spectreflame paints. Fantastic products. The Redline Shop at www.redlineshop.com, where Redlines come to life. Thank you for joining me here today in the Four Horsemen. Thank my other builders, and please check out their links in the comments section. Jeff at Outlaw Speed Shop, Xavier at Diecast Show Customs, and Jeff at 164 Revival. We're going to have some great builds coming up. We got one coming next month. We'll see you then.